Welcome to my world. Another day, another time, another period for knowledge acquisition. Knowledge is power, health is wealth. Today, my effort is towards meningitis eradication. How do we eradicate meningitis? Even though it is something that is preventable, and you wonder why diseases like that are lasting almost forever. But the efforts of the WHO, World Health Organization, at eradicating it by 2030 is what I want to emphasize on. Meningitis is very deadly, infectious, and kills within 24 hours. And those who survive it come down with serious complications, disabilities, like even epilepsies. And these are things that really makes it a serious concern for anybody that loves humanity. Meningitis is the inflammation of the inner lining of the brain and the spinal cord. That area that is protective, where you also find the cerebrospinal fluid. And these are what I usually use in the laboratory to test for any invasion of that area, because invasion of that area will produce certain parameter changes. That is, there are certain things that you see their value changing from normal to abnormal level, and they are very indicative. So let us look at the normal situation of the cerebrospinal fluid and the situation when there is an invasion by bacteria, viruses, fungal, or even these chemicals. Cerebrospinal fluid analysis. The cerebrospinal fluid, also called CSF, is that fluid that surrounds the brain and the spinal cord. Blood does not get to all the side of the brain and the spinal cord to supply it nutrient and what have you. So the CSF contains all the normal nutrients and the normal values. As you have seen there, it is clear by in color. The specific criteria is normal. The sodium is also normal. Potassium, chloride values, calcium, magnesium. The WBC, the white blood cells showing infection, you find 0 to 5 mononuclear cells. The red blood cells, like I said, does not enter there. Once there is a red blood cells trace, there is hemorrhage. Glucose values, pressure, the protein values are all normal values. Gamma globulin, you find 3 to 12% of total protein in it. Let us now look at the values when there is a deviation from normal. The normal values you can see in terms of pressure, there is increased pressure when it's bacterial, and the viral is normal, fungal is normal. The appearance is cleared for normal, but very turbid because of pathogenic organisms that are expected in that infection. But viruses don't produce much of pulses, that is the polymorphonuclear, and the TB will appear like fibrin webs. The protein is increased for bacteria and less for viral. Glucose is used up. As usual, you expect bacteria to use up the glucose, so you have less than 40. Viruses, not much, is still normal. The WBC count, you have high polymorphonuclear proliferations, the viral too. So these are all the pictures you expect to see when there is an infection of the CSF. Let us look at the signs and symptoms of meningitis. You can see fever, that is when the temperature is high, vomiting, the headache is serious, sleepiness, especially children. The rashes is very important, like the one in the picture that we are seeing. Then there is that dislike for lights, confusion, seriously, cannot think straight, and there is that problem of that seizure as well. Seizure, by seizure, you talk of epilepsy display, and you also have stiff neck at times, and bent knees, difficulty around the waist regions, and many others. The WHO has discovered that the disabilities associated with meningitis makes it a necessity for it to be eradicated, because those who survive it usually comes down with these serious disabilities. And so let us examine or briefly look at the effort of the WHO.
WHO has declared 5th of October of every year as World Meningitis Day. Meningitis can kill within hours, often has lifelong health implications for those that do survive, and has serious social and economic consequences. So don't joke with it.
Children are the most vulnerable, the infants. Why? It's very simple to understand. Because they have not really developed the immunity. They are exposed to it for the first time, and once the organisms that is at times normal resident around the upper respiratory tract area find its way to the brain barrier, through the brain barrier, then it goes up to infect the baby. You can even observe that children obviously come down with otitis media, that is infection of the middle ear of the baby, will producing spores. These are areas where they can use to penetrate the brain and cause serious meningitis, which kills within 24 hours. So the vulnerability of the children, or babies, infants, to meningitis is another cause of concern. So the need for vaccination is therefore emphasized.
The global roadmap identified 3 visionary goals for defeating the disease by 2030. 1. Eliminate bacterial meningitis epidemic. 2. Reduce cases of vaccine-preventable meningitis by 50%. So you're urging people to vaccinate, and death by 70%. And finally, reduce disability and improving quality of life after a diagnosis, so that once the person survives, the other complications do not follow.
Finally, if you like my channel, just press the like button, subscribe, so that this channel goes in leaps and bounds, and the encouragement will be very superlative in making me even do more research, more work, in order to satisfy you, the subscribers. So the meningitis problem, we are all concerned. Let us all learn, what we have gathered from this exposition, let us use it to eradicate meningitis by the year 2030.